So there's a question about the 8 precepts, but in particularly the precept against entertainments, like playing games, watching movies, just distraction, I suppose, distracting yourself. And why is that an issue? You know, simple game, a kind of just you're feeling under pressure, you're keeping the precepts, and you just want to relax.
Yeah. So it's an issue because you're not free from suffering yet. That's why it's an issue. If you were to be free from suffering, then yes, there are those things that could be deemed neutral in and of themselves. Like, oh, it's just, and that's why people would often like trying to reason, kind of divorced from their situation and look at it for its own. It's like, well, it's not a big deal, and yeah, factually, it's not a big deal. But paired with your non-freedom from suffering, those things would then result in greed, aversion, delusion that you're not free from in festering, increasing. If you were free from those things, then yes, those neutral activities, even entertainment, would not cause that, because you would have removed it. You would have basically removed the unwholesome roots that are still present in you. So that's why you need to renounce those activities as well until you're free from suffering, until you have uprooted the cause of all problems, so to speak. Then, yeah, if you choose to whatever, for whatever reason, engage with something that might be deemed entertainment externally, well, it won't be an entertainment for you, because the nature of entertainment is the nature of distraction. Distraction from the present situation that is bothering, that is oppressing, that you are not free from internally. But yeah, if you just judge it by the external activity on paper, it's nothing to it, because there isn't anything to it. But why is it being done? What is your intention behind it? Then you realize, oh yeah, now there's a whole world of difference.
Because it seems to me, it is you feeling displeasure, you're feeling boredom, and you want to get rid of that.
It has to be, exactly, because those are things, for as long as you're not free from suffering, means those things are still going to be pressuring you. I don't know, think about it, like, you just, I don't know, put a blanket over a grass, and it's just a blanket on the grass. What's the problem with it? Well, what's underneath the blanket? And it's like these weeds and roots, they will now grow even more. But if you remove it, expose it to the sun, they'll dry up and die. Then put all blankets you want on the ground, but not before you would have got rid of the stuff that needs to be dealt with.
But then again, why would you? Yeah, as you said, why would you? What's the reason for distracting? What would be the reason, for example, watching a movie?
Sometimes it can even be just a habit for people, even if it's not necessarily like fully defined pressure to distract myself. It's just careless habit, just not even think about it.
In general, it's like an escape.
It is an escape, yeah. But again, like, even an escape in and of itself, it's not a problem if there is nothing you're trying to escape.
Right.
But you won't be in a position to be not trying to escape anything, i.e. freed, if you would not have stopped all those activities beforehand. Because, as I said, for as long as greed, aversion, delusion are still there underlying your experience, those escapes would serve would provide food for those unwholesome roots, would feed them. That's why they are unwholesome. But if, say, Arahant has uprooted all these things from his experience as a whole, then entertainment, there is nothing to feed. So, and then exactly how much would then he enjoy it? Well, that's a question of individual person, I suppose. But because the reason for enjoyment is usually exactly that, self-forgetfulness and disappearance from the current state of your kind of emotional state, feeling, pressure, boredom, all these things that could be there, simply taking a break from yourself, basically. That's what it translates to.
because that whole entertainment industry is like one of the biggest industries, you know, because because everyone's suffering, and it's like it's just such an easy way to go to escape your reality. It's built on your suffering, basically. It's like you.
Yeah, because like if you and you realize how much people would be dependent on it, because if you were to just stop, for example, entertainment, the pressure would increase. That's it. Like, if you're not, for as long as you're not stopping it, it might not seem like a big deal. But then if you choose to stop it, just as an experiment, then you realize, oh, so I just have to spend the entire day without forgetting about myself through these activities. And you realize, oh, that's the unpleasant part, just being with yourself. Because why is it, as I ask often, why is it just sitting with yourself, doing nothing? Why is that unpleasant? Why is that kind of something that people would be resisting by default? No, just doing nothing. Not distracting myself. Not trying to, get rid of anything. Not trying to... And yet it's like, it's the worst thing. You ask yourself these things and you realize, oh yeah, it's not even unpleasant. Like, it's not even like that you really hate or something. It's just like, by default, you want to look away from yourself. By default, you want to be taken elsewhere. And that's a habit that then festers and proliferates, and you become more and more dependent on that. And as any other habit, you can undo it by not providing fuel for it. So by reducing the distraction and entertainment and giving it up, you are bringing yourself back to yourself, in a sense of like, okay, so now I'm with myself, and I don't need to make some extra crazy determined effort to be present in the moment with myself. All I need to do is not distract myself from myself, and I am present in the moment with myself. So mindfulness and awareness will be there because you're not basically hindering it with all these habitual actions of towards entertainment and delusion and distraction.